Hey there, y'all. IronWrath's 2023 album Master Storyteller has just been released on vinyl in a very cool gatefold double vinyl edition. We're going to take a look at that today. I'll give you my full review, show you the vinyl, show you the gatefold, all that good stuff. We're also going to talk about some of the cool things that IronWrath offers fans. Lots of great stuff to talk about there. We will also take a look at, if you listen to the Master Storyteller album while going through their new illustrated show book, how it offers all sorts of interesting layers of meaning and added depth and dimension to the album itself. We'll talk about that. We're also going to look at the significance of this album, how today, here in September 2025, as this vinyl drops, this album may be even more relevant than it was when it first dropped in 2023. It's all coming right up. Stay where you are. Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to another Tim Talks Christian Rock. Tim Risto here. Hope you're doing awesome today, and may God bless your day going forward from here. Today, we're going to talk some more IronWrath, and yes, we've talked a lot of IronWrath here on several videos here on the channel in recent weeks and last month or so, and that's because, number one, I'm a big fan of this band and what they're doing, not only musically, but also visually and on their website and in so many different ways, shapes, and forms, which I'll highlight here in just a second. It's just a great group of guys, great men of faith, who are also very cool creatives. And here at the Creative Christians channel, of course, we are all about creativity and faith. And this group of guys exemplifies that on so many different levels. So, I've gotten to know C.G. Ryche over the last year or so. He's the drummer, percussionist, and really kind of one of the leading creative forces behind the band. Great guy. He was my first interview here on Tim Talks Christian Rock in the new interview series. Wonderful thing. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Great man of faith, also very talented musician, drummer, percussionist, lyricist too. He wrote most of the lyrics on the Master Storyteller album. Also an incredibly talented filmmaker. Great filmmaker. He and I call each other every so often, and that's one of the things we talk about is films, our love for films, different ideas we'll discuss, and of course music as well too, and writing and things like that. So love chatting with him, loved being able to get to know him over the last year or so. Sean Silas, lead guitarist for IronWrath, another great guy that I've gotten to know a little bit online. We've commented on things back and forth. Really love him, love his passion for faith and for speaking his mind, telling the truth, and also just incredibly talented guitarist and musician as well too. So anyway, all the guys in IronWrath are a great group of guys, great men of faith, great Christian creatives who exemplify what it means to be a creative in the faith too. So love all that. And the band as a whole is just doing things unlike most bands are doing in Christian rock and metal right now. At least IronWrath is doing a wide variety of things and to a level of professionalism and quality unlike you see in most Christian rock and metal bands out there. It's not to knock other bands, it's just that IronWrath has really upped the level of what they're doing and the things they're offering. Number one, the Master Storyteller album itself, of course, is just a great contribution to the world of Christian rock and metal. Phenomenal, and this vinyl release is just further testament to that. I'll give you my full review here shortly. But also the Master Storyteller film that they've produced that accompanies their live performances and is also available in entirety on their website in the VIP section. More about that in a minute too. But that's just a phenomenal film. C.G. Ryche was instrumental behind filming and editing and producing that piece as well too. So, that's an incredible work of art. The illustrated show book that they put out for Master Storyteller, of which I've done a full review of this, link in the description down below. But this is an amazing thing that you don't see other Christian rock and metal bands doing. We'll talk more about this in a minute too. Also, the website. IronWrath's website is very professionally done and of a level of quality that is extremely visual, extremely engaging and interactive, just filled with all sorts of great stuff, is unique in Christian rock and metal circles. They also have the VIP section of their website, which is the subscriber members only section that gives you access to all sorts of great content for only $7 a month. Behind the scenes videos, fly on the wall videos, interviews, documentaries, screensavers, although I think that's part of the regular part of the website. But just all sorts of great stuff. We're going to talk about one of the behind the scenes videos here in just a little bit, so I'll stay around for that for sure. Also, you get access to great exclusive merchandise when you're part of the VIP, like this t-shirt right here that I got as being a VIP member, and it is really cool. This one here says at the bottom, VIP exclusive IronWrath Rockwear collection. But this is the Master Storyteller themed t-shirt. I'll show you the back here too in a photo that also makes mention or highlights the VIP aspect of that. But this is just very cool, neat visual design to this shirt front and back, but also very comfortable too. I love wearing their shirts. They're just very, very comfortable and look cool at the same time too. So, you've got all that going on as well too. IronWrath is just doing some amazing things, and it's worth supporting and being a part of. If you're not a VIP member, opt to it. You're missing out on a lot of great stuff that, as a fan of IronWrath, number one, but also just as a fan of Christian rock and metal, the type of stuff they've got available and that they update on a regular basis is just amazing. I've got a review of the VIP section too. Separate video, link in the description as well. So, with all that said, IronWrath is doing some great stuff. This Master Storyteller vinyl release is another example of that. So, let's get to it. So, here it is. The Master Storyteller vinyl release just came out. Like I said, I just got my copy today, just arrived in the mail. Broke into it, listened to it all, checked it all out, and I love it. This is courtesy of Girder Records, girderrecords.com, and is the entire full Master Storyteller album released in gatefold on 2 vinyls, and it's very cool. The graphics and visuals and everything are really nice, tie in with the visuals that we've been used to seeing both on the CD and in the film and other related materials, but it is a nice release. It's a gatefold. There's a poster that came with it. I'll talk about that in a minute, but here it is. Love this gatefold spread of the vinyl. It says here, in a world where up is down and wrong is right, people need someone to speak words of truth and guide them from a wonderland of lies to a realm of reality. Very, very cool stuff. Master Storyteller up here. And there's even a little QR code here where you can scan it. And it says, for album credits and extras, ironwrath.net/vinyl. So well worth scanning that and getting access to some interesting things there too, including lyrics and other stuff. But definitely check that out. This has 2 vinyls. They're in black paper and poly sleeves. The first vinyl is in this gorgeous red. There is side A and side B there. Very, very nice. Side A has 3 songs. Side B has 3 as well. So first 6 tracks are on your first vinyl. The second vinyl, also in a black paper and poly sleeve, is in a gorgeous blue. So there's side C and D. Side C has 4 tracks on it, and side D has 3. So A, B, and D all have 3 tracks, while C has an extra track, 4th track. And so you've got the first disc as the red vinyl and the second disc as the blue vinyl, kind of the red pill, blue pill kind of analogy there. Very cool. And just a really nicely produced gatefold release. Love the graphic design of this. It's very, very cool. The album sounds good too. I've listened to this from beginning to end. It sounds great. In fact, it's probably almost too good, at least too good for my equipment, because I don't have a super high-end turntable, and I definitely don't have great headphones. So there are points in the album where the quality of the recording and the source material exceeds what my equipment can manage. So like some of CG's drum work and stuff like that, my headphones buzz a little bit because they just can't handle the sonic range of this. And CG talks about this too. In fact, again, if you're a VIP member on the IronWrath website, you can get access to some behind-the-scenes videos where he talks about audio luffs and things like that in regard to the sonic range and clarity of how they handled this album recording and mixing and all that. So not the vinyl necessarily specifically, but just the album in general, the recording process and all that. So well worth looking into, because he knows what he's talking about, and it's amazing quality. So it is on display in this vinyl edition too, which is pretty cool. Now for the poster, this is something that this poster came with the first 100 orders. So there may be some left. I'm not sure if they've exceeded the 100 order limit yet, but they probably will soon if they haven't. And so you can get this if you order it. It's really no extra cost, and you just have to be one of those first 100, and you get this very cool IronWrath Master Storyteller poster, again with a lot of the great graphics, all the band members pictured here, circle around kind of the rabbit hole, and there's the rabbit getting ready to go down the rabbit hole. Some other imagery here. It says, in a world where up is down and wrong is right, people need someone to speak words of truth and guide them from a wonderland of lies to a realm of reality, similar to what we read there earlier. Master Storyteller. Very, very cool. I think it's 11 by 17 poster. Girder Records down here in the corner, and IronWrath with a QR code there to access some things too. I haven't actually scanned that yet, so I can't tell you what that is, but maybe before the video review here is over, I'll check that out. But very, very cool poster. Love that. Come back to the vinyl here in a minute again, but just to note, of course, the album was originally released on CD. Here's the black CD. This was in 2023. So you can see the similarity of graphics design there on the front cover art and back art. And then also they have a limited edition red CD, which is just, everything's pretty much the same, but everything's done in a red graphic design, which is really actually very cool. It's a limited edition, so at some point they're going to run out of these. So if you want the red edition to be worth picking up, this is available through the IronWrath website. The vinyl, however, is exclusively available through GirderRecords.com. Girder Records there, and I'll put a link down below again where you can get this. But it is not available through the IronWrath website, at least as of the date of the recording of this video. The CDs are available there. This vinyl, though, is exclusively available through Girder Records at the moment. So you'll want to pick this up there, and if you want to get a copy that has the poster with it too, you've got to be one of those first 100 orders. I don't think those are going to last long, so if you want to get one, now would be the time to order it. But I want to talk about this album and listening to it, as I mentioned at the top, while looking through the Illustrated Show Book. This is something that I did, and it's really a very cool experience, because when you sit down with this album, with the vinyl, for me personally in particular, and put the headphones on and listen to it, and look through and read through the text and the visuals of the show book, it just adds a whole new layer to experiencing the album in a very cool way. There's a couple things I'll mention here about this. The order of songs here on the album, of course, comes from the way this was laid out back in 2023. And this was how the album was designed as an album, to be able to experience the music from beginning to end, a certain order to achieve a certain purpose and goal that the band had at the time to experience the album and the music in this order. The show book, which does highlight the songs, Master Storyteller there, Bed of Lies there. It lists the songs and text describing things. Sometimes they're lyrics from the songs. Other times they're just thematic descriptions. But the order that the show book presents the songs in is different than what the album, CD or vinyl, shows them in. And by the way, the CD and vinyl, the order of songs on both the CD and vinyl are the same. But here in the show book, it's a different order. Because as the band developed their show, their performance, and as the film developed, the order of the songs changed. So it's different for a different reason and a different purpose. Now, I did listen to it, of course, with the vinyl being the order that it has and the show book being the order it has. But it's just really cool. I mean, I can't stress enough how fun it is to listen to the album while looking through the visuals and the text of the show book. It's a very cool experience. However, if you'd like to listen to the album in the order of the show book while looking through the show book, I've created a Spotify playlist that puts things in the order that the show book has the songs, so that you could sit down and listen to the album in this order. I don't want to discourage you from picking up the vinyl or the CD because they're awesome releases and you should pick those up. And, of course, you could jump around or create a CD playlist putting them in this order. But more so just for the purpose of if you want to be able to experience the show book with the album order or with the show book order of the music, I've created that Spotify playlist. I will put a link in the description below so you can access that. I think that's pretty cool. Again, not to discourage you from the vinyl or CD, you should pick those up. But this would be a cool way to experience it going through. There is one song on here, second to last track, Imagine a World, that is not represented in the show book. So I did put that song on the Spotify playlist, but it's at the very end after Death March. So just be aware of that. Also, there are a couple tracks, musical interludes that are mentioned. I think it's 2 of them that are mentioned in the show book that actually are not on the album, but they are musical interludes and tracks in the film itself. Just to make you aware of that. That's something that C.G. Ryche talks about. And he talks about the order of these songs too in a recent download video, or a recent upload video, I should say, that the band made to the VIP section of the website. And it's a very cool video about the structure of that show book, how it was structured, why it was structured, the order of songs, some of the meaning behind that. It's very, very well done. It's CG just sitting there talking about that. He also mentions a certain YouTuber, podcaster in there that may be of your acquaintance that you might be familiar with. So you should definitely go check that out. Again, $7 a month. And if you just want to subscribe for 1 month and watch a bunch of stuff and see that video, I'd encourage you to at least do that. But once you've done that, you're probably going to want to keep subscribing because there's so much great stuff. And again, they do make an effort to make regular uploads, and it's always great stuff. So anyway, this video, highly worth checking out. It's this one here that I've got up on the screen right now. It's behind the VIP members only subscriber-based section of the website. You should check it out. It's really, really well done. Very fascinating, interesting stuff to understand this album on another level. So speaking of that, let's talk about the significance of this album for a minute, the relevance of this album. Master Storyteller came out in 2023, which, as you recall, was a time when we were climbing out, for the most part, of the last vestiges of the whole pandemic, the whole COVID-19 mess and fiasco that was going on. This album squarely addresses a number of the themes and elements that were a result of that time period, and things that came out of that. And this really has 3 main themes going on. You've got faith, family, and freedom. Faith is front and center even in the title of the album, Master Storyteller, which is a direct reference to Jesus Christ. You could call this album Jesus Christ. That's really how direct and pointed this is in that sense. Of course, family, the preservation of the nuclear family, which was being broken down during the pandemic time. People, insisting you divide, stay apart, distance, not get together for Thanksgivings and whatever else, just ridiculous stuff as it ended up turning out. And then, of course, freedom, which is at the heart of some of those very same things. So there was a lot of things that this album was extremely relevant for when it came out in 2023. What's interesting now today, here as this vinyl edition drops here in September of 2025, is this album has taken on suddenly a fully renewed sense of relevance. I think even a stronger one than it had in 2023. And I'm speaking, of course, in light of one of the most significant events to have happened here in recent history this month here, as of the date of the recording of this video, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a deeply Christian man who lived out his faith, engaging in dialogue with, in particular, a number of college students on college campuses across the United States and the world. He boldly lived out his faith. He lived out preaching the gospel, professing the gospel message to everyone that he engaged with, in particular so many of those college students at Utah University, where he was assassinated, murdered, in front of his family and in front of all those college students, in front of so many people, huge audience that witnessed his massacre. But he lived out his faith boldly and has left for us another example of how to do so, of how to live out your faith amidst all of the pushback that culture gives you, against all of the very active spiritual forces of darkness that are active in the world today. Again, I don't mean to overstate this album, but this is an album that addresses all those things. Many of the very things that Charlie Kirk stood for. Faith, family, freedom. Those are all things he spoke about. And this album addresses those. So in terms of just talking about this, the relevancy of this album in today's culture, this has become even more relevant now than it was back when it came out in 2023, post-pandemic. And what a amazing time to have an album come out that bridges two huge events. I mean, the assassination of Charlie Kirk has clearly changed the world going forward from here, reignited the flame of revival, of faith in Christ. You're seeing it happen in things all over the place right now. Yesterday, as of the date of the recording of this video, was the memorial for Charlie Kirk that had hundreds of thousands of people attend. Of course, it was streamed online. I did watch it. It was powerful. The statements from almost everyone that got up to speak, in particular, many of the leaders that are in our current administration, professing faith in Jesus Christ, the importance of a relationship with Christ, was powerful. And, of course, Erica Kirk herself getting up there again on national TV for the second time in the wake of her husband's assassination, professing faith in Christ and professing a willingness to forgive the assassin. It was powerful stuff. Again, just that these things are so relevant today and this album addresses things, to me, is not a statement of just a single album, but it is a statement of the themes that this album represents and of the biblical truths it strives to present. So I'm saying all of this because, again, not to try and attach this onto all these events so much as it is with God's timing, that so many albums that have deep significance and resonance for us are often attached to events in time. You remember some of your most loved albums from the 80s, were attached to sometimes, certain songs were attached to events that happened in history. I feel very strongly about this album because it was relevant after the pandemic. It's super relevant even now, and I think going forward. So again, just a strength to what IronWrath has produced in this album, how God has worked through the music, the lyrics, the band members that have produced this album, C.G. Ryche and the whole crew, and really the meaning behind this is incredibly relevant, strong, has a great deal of biblical wisdom behind it. So I just wanted to reflect on that for a little bit. I think that's worth talking about. We can have a whole discussion about that. But for those of you that have heard the album, and maybe you've pulled it out again, maybe you just got your vinyl copy, maybe you've pulled out the CD, and maybe there's some things that resonate with you in the wake of this Charlie Kirk assassination. Maybe you've picked up the album again and listened to it. Maybe you're listening to it for the first time. But let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts about that? Has this album been of help to you? And what are your thoughts on this album? If you have the vinyl edition, feel free to let me know your thoughts about this vinyl release too. I think it's a phenomenal release. And again, just to kind of sum up, I love what IronWrath is doing. I see God using them, their music, this album, the show book, everything they're doing to continue to move forward in bold and new ways with Christian rock and metal. So anyway, y'all, that's all I've got for today. Let me know your thoughts down below. And be sure and go out and listen to some great Christian rock and metal. Make it IronWrath, Master Storyteller. You won't be disappointed. But above all else, remember, stay in God's Word. Blessings, y'all. Have a great one.